Alright, so in the Remnant update, Hello Games made some changes that messed with timing in the build menus, and this kind of makes it very hard for me to do the universal adjacency glitch. So this glitch is needed for my method that I previously presented in a video on how to tilt habs around this axis so that they stand up like this. And yeah, it was basically almost impossible for me to get it done anymore, so I developed a new scaffold that allows you to do this without having to rely on the universal adjacency glitch, and this is what I'm going to show you today. So let's first start with a new Corvette. I think I have a basic one prepared somewhere. Should be the last one. Yeah. Yeah, I will show you two scaffolds. Basically you have to, depending on which orientation you want of the hab, you have to build it either in this sector of the circle, in this sector, in this sector, or in this sector. And it has to be far enough away from the center, which is denoted by this yellow X on the floor. It has to be at least one unit, one full walkway away from the center, but I generally tend to build it even a bit farther out because depending on how accurate you are with building it, you might cross into this one walkway away distance and then it won't work, so it's safer to build it a bit further out. I usually go about somewhere here, and yeah, this will be a silent process until the scaffold is done. You can already see when I move things around it is, since the Remnant update, it is now updating the position much more quickly. There is almost no lag, so this unfortunately also removed a glitch that was pretty useful, and I can show you that later. So this is the basic scaffold. Yeah, I'm going to build the same scaffold in this sector as well, so that you can see how it looks when it is built for a different orientation of the hab. And then what you can do is build this exact same scaffold in this sector, basically rotate it 100 degrees around to get a hab where the, well, with this scaffold I think the floor of the hab will be here and the top will be here. So if you want it the other way around, you have to build it here, the scaffold, and then the floor will be here, I think, and the top will be here, yeah. So, and same for this sector and this sector, they are also point symmetrical 180 degrees. So I will build it here, and then if you could also build it in this sector to get it basically the inverted version of this one. But you'll see later when we finish. Is this enough distance? Yeah, I think it should be enough. No, this was correct. Something like this. What you need is a place to stand on. I usually shift the hab that you stand on half a unit over compared to these habs, because if you don't, then you have this middle line where you have to stand, and it seems that collision detection is not perfect, and if you stand on this joint between the habs, then it will kind of glitch out a bit, and you will sink a little bit into it, and it will shift your position laterally. So it's better if you have a hab like this with no gap in the middle where you're going to stand on. For this scaffold here, it doesn't matter, because you can just place the hab like this, length wide, then you don't have a gap either. And then what you also need is a line here. This line works fine, but the line between the habs also works fine. And then you need basically a relay joint, I think it's called. Yeah, relay joint, because they have this nice orange label here in the middle where you're going to align your crosshair with. And you also need these relay joints here, because we are going to use them to move light boxes along their face until this position, and then we can basically attach a wire from here to here, and then glitch a window onto the end of this wire, and this will turn into a nutrition unit that will be vertically aligned like so, which will then allow us to go back to the Corvette builder and attach a hab to this vertically aligned nutrition unit, and this will result in a vertical hab that we want to have. So this should be everything. Of course, if you're building it new, you have to attach reactor, thruster, landing bay, and the weapon, and the cockpit, and the landing gear to be able to save the Corvette. This was already prepared for me. So let's claim this Corvette, and let's go to our settlement. You need a settlement, and you have to place a base computer 300 units outside of the center of the settlement and claim that as a base. Why a settlement? The reason is because a settlement has nice flat terrain. You can also... no, it's under attack. So let's fly there. I don't want to bother with killing attackers. Sorry, this will take a while. Anyway, the settlement is nice because it has a nice flat floor, and if you try to build this glitch on a floor that isn't perfectly flat, it can sometimes crash, so it's better to use a settlement. You can also use a regular base and just flatten the terrain with the terrain manipulator. Should also work. Just make sure that you land your Corvette on perfectly flat terrain. It doesn't always crash, but I had like, I don't know, 33% chance of it crashing. And why I landed near a base, you will see why. It's basically so that we can switch from building on our Corvette to building on the base. This will give us more options. It will give us the wiring mode, which we need to place a wire. And it also gives you the possibility to add base parts to your Corvette, but we're not going to use this. Alright, I have landed a little bit outside so that we aren't bothered by the attackers. And now let's try to do it. It is 9 now, so we need the flashlight. So basically you have to align yourself with this line and the center of the label, but it's now a bit hard to see because of these relay joints. So what you can do is just align yourself so that you can't see this face here of the relay joints anymore, so that it's just a straight line, something like this, that you can still see a little bit of the center black piece here of the orange label. And then you're going to open the building menu, select the light box, then go to edit mode with C, the last button on the button list. And now it's a bit hard to see because it's night and the flashlight doesn't reach the highlighted relay joint, but you basically have to align your crosshair so that the inner square edges, the bottom right one of the inner square corners of the crosshair is at middle height of the orange label, and that the dot of the crosshair is just right of the face of the relay joints that are closest to you, something like this. And then you basically go back to edit and build. Oops, I moved. Try not to move. And then toggle free placement, the second last button on the button row, and place this relay joint, this light box on the wall of the relay joint there. Then you can go back to snap mode, second last button on the button row again, and build a line of light boxes like this right up until here. Now we're going to go up here, and now what you have to do is use the normal adjacency glitch to turn this light box into a light floor, and same with one on this side of the line. I usually use the center one, but sometimes it's easier to use another one, because if you use the center one, sometimes it wants to snap to the other light floor that you have placed here. So yeah, the way you do this is you open the build menu, you go to edit mode, click on the light box, and now you have to press cycle part, the first button on the button row, and build the second button on the button row almost at the same time, but cycle part a little bit earlier. The timing is very tight now, so you have to try a few times probably. I usually also can't do it on the first one. That was lucky, I was able to do it on the first try, but usually it takes me longer. Let's see here. Yeah, that's very lucky now. Usually it takes me 4 or 5 tries to do this. These you can delete. Now what we're going to do is we're going to build a light box again, but we're going to aim it on the planet floor. And now you see on the right you have this description of the light box, and below it there is an orange bar. And because there is now a base in the vicinity of where you landed your ship, we have this button that is highlighted in the orange bar, and we can press this button, for me it's tab, to switch between the base and the Corvette. And you can see the button row on top is changing. When we go to the base, we get new buttons. We get toggle camera button and toggle wiring buttons. And we're going to press the toggle wiring button now, so that we get the wire connector. We're going to aim it at the connector of the light floor, but it is still red, so you have to press the button in the orange button in the orange row again. That changes from the Corvette to the base, and then it becomes green. Do the same on this side, and now we have a wire. This wire is part of the base and not of the Corvette, and we can use it to glitch stuff onto it. So we can delete these light floors, we don't need them anymore. And now we have to glitch a window onto this end of the wire, and the easiest part, the easiest way I have found to do this is to go down to the planet floor, start placing something, then use the toggle camera button, second last button on the button row. And now we're going to open the build menu again. Make sure you get the Corvette build menu, if not you have to press the nice button in the orange row again. Then we're going to select a window, press the switch base button again. Now we're going to press the toggle wiring button to go into wiring mode. And if you now aim at the wire, you should get a green connector. If not, you can try pressing the switch to base button again. But it should look like this. The wire connector should be about at this position and not at the very end of the wire, otherwise it won't work. So what we're going to do now to glitch this nutrition unit onto this wire is we're going to press the toggle wiring button, last button on the button row, and the place wire button almost at the same time, but the toggle wiring button a little bit earlier. And this is also pretty tight timing, so you probably have to try a few times. Let's see. Yeah, it didn't work. If it doesn't work like this, you can just press Q again, and it should be green again, so you can rapidly try and try until it works. Okay, 5 tries is pretty good. Usually it takes me longer. Now you can see you have a vertical nutrition unit. You can see the floor is here and the top is here. So this is also the orientation of the hab that we will get later when we snap a hab to it, the Corvette builder. What we now have to do, this nutrition unit is still part of the base. You can see if I hover a white light over it, it says editing Agentuk base. And it should say editing Vadanos Gambit because it's the name of the Corvette. So what we have to do is we have to go into edit mode, then we have to click basically use the move button on this nutrition unit, but do not place it anywhere, just click it once so that it's picked up, and then go to a green position, and now you have to cancel the movement. On PC it's right mouse button, and I think on Xbox gamepad it's B. And what this did is, because it was green here, it is now part of the Corvette. We can check this. If we select the white light again, you can see it now says editing Badano's Gambit. So it is now part of the Corvette. This is what we need, because if it was part of the base it would stay here when we fly away. So now it will come with us. You can also delete this wire. If it doesn't delete when you press delete, then you have to switch to base building first with the button that is usually in the orange row. Tab for me, and then you should be able to delete it. You can also leave it here, it will just stay here if you fly away, so we'll get a floating wire in this location later on. Doesn't really matter, but yeah, just for cleaning up. So now we're going to do the same on this side, on this scaffold, and then we can fly back and glitch a hab to both these nutrition units. Alright, it is now day, so we don't need the flashlight anymore. This should be about good. Wow, first try. Nice. Alright, let's go back to the space station. There is my teleport. See our nutrition units, and we can snap habs to them. Whoops. And then to make sure you don't accidentally delete them, I usually build a couple. build one somewhere where I'm not going to edit. So yeah, this is how you get vertical habs like this. Something I'm also going to show you now is why I talked earlier about these sectors. It's because this hab can't go over this line here. You can see it turns red. And the reason I suspect this is because when we tilt the hab, basically the allowed build area is also tilted with it, so it treats this line as the floor of this build area, and we can't go down into the floor, so you can also only go forward with this. You can go sideways as far as you like, but not backwards. So if you want a hab like this, basically with the top forwards or backwards, you have to build the same scaffold that we had here in this area, which will give you a hab here that is oriented like this one, but it will have the floor on this side and the top on this side. And same goes for this one here. You can see it can't go over the center line here. So the same applies here. If you want this hab over on this side, you have to build a scaffold here. What you could also do is build the scaffold that we had here on this side, but then you have to have the relay joints on the other side, so that you can build them along the wall that is on this side, and then you could also glitch light floors to them. I'm just not sure if you probably would have to rotate the light floors as well 180 degrees, so that you get the correct orientation, I think. But it's probably just easier to build it over here instead, like I have shown. And what you can do now with this is you can do vertical armor pieces like this. You can do crazy stuff like have a vertical landing base, which is probably not very useful, but who knows. Or even vertical cockpits. I think this one could be useful on some niche builds maybe. Of course, thrusters. Do vertical thrusters like this. You can also do vertical weapons if for some reason you need this. Reactors, of course. Wings could be nice for some of these wings, maybe. Have them oriented like this, or like this, facing forward. Can do propellers like this. Then these pieces can also be positioned in new ways. And in the last video I said that it's not useful for these things, because basically you can already put these in a vertical orientation. But I was wrong, because what happens when you delete this hab, it flips upwards, which doesn't happen when you delete this hab, so it still has an issue even for these parts. that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video and have fun with these new techniques.